sometimes. So, like I said, man, thoughts and prayers with all of them, because that's one of them things that you never, as a parent, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got kids, but I can only imagine, as a parent, you like kind of like what Street said, you don't want to see your kid get hurt, and then you trying to reach out to them, they not reaching out to you. The school and the coaching staff is working with the ambulance, making sure that you get the care you need, and blowing up their phone. I can only imagine. You know what I'm saying? I've had devastating stuff happen. Family members had devastating stuff happen to airmen, but never anything like that. So.
No, those are great points. Before we segue into something else, we have to take we got to try a little bit to take the fanatic, you know what I'm saying, out of the word fan, or however you want to say it. The same way we want those guys to, take the business part out of it. These are people, so we have to think about that when we look at these athletes, and especially our young guys in college, and our entertainers. We just lost Gangsta Boo yesterday. Rest in peace.
Yes,
Um, these are people. We always got to kind of remember that. And what Mehdi said is so poignant, because somebody just pointed out. I'm looking at the comment section, and somebody said that they gave both teams 5 minutes to reset their teams and get back. I'm like, what? And both coaches refused. And I'm just like, now if that blows up, it's gonna be deservedly so. And I hope it does, because sometimes things like that, not because I want anybody in trouble, but sometimes things like that need to happen so we can start to make things change, and
Right.
we can, it's that's crazy to me.
You said repeat it again. What did they say?
Yeah, David
They
Hall
said,
says, a source on Twitter says the NFL gave both teams 5 minutes to restart the game, but both the coaches refused.
Right. The coaches had to refuse that.
yeah,
Come on, NFL.
all right. And somebody said it was
It's like it's
confirmed.
like
Somebody underneath said it.
it's like, man, someone is on the verge of death, and as a business, you more focused on. It's like, hey, y'all got other safeties out there, right? Are y'all good? Go
Right.
ahead, hurry up. What are we talking about, man? Like, we talking about human life in a game on national TV. That might be the most, for some people, depending on how their lifestyle go, that might be the most traumatic thing that they ever see.
Right.
Period. Right?
Hmm.
Especially if the person, God forbid, but something
Kids.
more grim starts happening.
Kids are
Right?
there. Kids. Think, Mehdi, not to cut you off, but just to further your point, there's kids out there in that audience, bro. Like, come on, man.
And then you may tell me like the NFL is so focused on. I don't want to go into a rant about capitalistic society, but it seems like sometimes, man, like we often put the business before the. We put the carriage before the horse, man.
Right.
Honestly, like
I'm I'm
we.
I'm sure their first thought is how to. Yeah, I'm sure their first thought is two things. You know what I'm saying? Oh boy, this will be the story for tomorrow, and and that crosses their mind. You know what I'm saying? Which it shouldn't. And in that moment, it's like, well, they've never seen it happen before either. You feel me?
You got all these league officials getting paid all this money, and no one stopped to think like, "Hey, man, like, let's ask this question, right? Hypothetically, Roger Goodell got a nephew on Jackson State. If he going to make a
Hmm.
special team tackle and he gets hit a certain way and his heart stops, you think Roger Goodell would care about if the Celebration Bowl continued?
Nope.
Are we serious right now? Why did it take the coaches refusing, not the owner, not the GM, not why did it take the coaches saying we're not going the hell back out there? You stupid. For them to be like, no, what, you're right. We can look in postpone. Like, that's
Mm.
we got to be better, man. It's 2023. To see it's 2 years, 2 days into the new year, man, and I'm already sitting here baffled about how disappointing humanity can be. Like,
Right.
I see the Skip Bayless quote, and sometimes it's best to just be quiet. You don't have an answer for
1 second.
what's going on in your head. Just be quiet.
Right. We're going to get into that 1 second. We're going to get right into that. 1 second. We're going to get into that because, the best thing we just got to stand up. Somebody said, man, hey, listen, they are killing Skip Bayless on Twitter right now, bro.
Street, honestly.
Like calling for his head. Like, listen, finally.
You know what time it is, Matty.
No, listen, finally. They are calling for his head.
No, honestly, I don't think we need the intro music tonight, man. Just...
Know what that time it is, man. What's going on, bro? My guy, Coach Hayes, man. I was contemplating, dog. Like,
this
man, do I do this tonight, man? But listen, bro. It's a tribute to you, man. So every time you come, that's gonna go down like that, dog.
I appreciate it. How y'all doing, fellas?
Appreciate it, dog. Y'all should see him blushing in the background. He get up here, he act like he bashful, and he act like, I don't know why he does this. Soon as he come on, he be in the background like this.
Nah, I'll be laughing because dog, it's so long. It's so long, and the funny thing, I don't even know what it means. Like I'll be laughing because I'm like, am I Luke Longley? Am I Ron Harper? Am I Michael Jordan?
You Michael Jordan, dog. Hey,
Jordan,
like,
hey, what you talking about, man?
You look like Scottie Pippen, but you Michael Jordan, dog. Hey, dog.
I could be Ron
Harper. Before or after he got hurt, Coach?
Nah, before.
Before.
Nah, man, but this that's funny, man. I've been hitting you up for the longest, man. This dude here, boy. We got to get a street I fell down alert button or something, man. This dude here, boy.
Grinding, dog, like Mario. I be grinding. So Skip Bayless, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season. See, this is what I read. When I glanced at a game of this magnitude is crucial. The regular season outcome, which certainly seems so irrelevant. He tweeted this out to everybody. People must forget sometimes when you hit the send button on Twitter, it goes to the world. They must forget that. He tweeted this out.
Yeah, you know what? Skip Bayless, one time for you. Slap his face, man.
Do it again, dog.
You know what, man? Just straight one. You know what? The thing about Ron Harper, Lord have mercy. The thing about Skip Bayless is he get away with so much. They're not gonna fire him. That's not gonna happen.
Right?
You think so?
Nah, they gonna fire him.
No.
Y'all gotta understand something. I don't mean to cut you off, Coach, but
no, you good. You good.
Look at the network that owns his platform. That's all you really need to know. Look at the network that owns his platform. They
look at the network that owns his platform.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they thrive off sensationalism and pushing the bounds of the things that they say on television, right? Look at the parent company of Fox Sports. So at the end of the day, yeah, Coach Hayes do got a point. Like,
no, he's not. No, they're not gonna fire. They're not going. I would be highly surprised if they even make him apologize. I think the only way he has to apologize, unfortunately, God willing, this doesn't happen. But if that young man passes away, he'll apologize. Other than that, he won't apologize. Dog, he hasn't apologized for anything he said to anybody.
he backtracked already, Hayes. He backtracked.
Yeah, no, but backtracking. No. Backtracking and apologizing, because when it come to us, we have to say the words, I apologize or I am sorry. Those phrases have to come out our mouth. Not the fact that that's not what I meant. That's not what my intent was. We have to say, I apologize. And then comes a litany of criteria that we have to do in order to make it right. And that's the difference.
And that was
Jalen Rose apologize live, didn't he?
Live.
Yeah. Yeah, and he didn't even apologize to Jalen Rose. He hasn't apologized to Chris Bosh. He didn't even apologized. He has not even apologized to Shannon Sharp.
Let's see. One second. Let's see what Ryan Clark said.
And I think sometimes we use those things so much, we forget that part of living this dream is putting your life at risk. And tonight, we got to see a side of football that is extremely ugly. A side of football that no one ever wants to see or never wants to admit exists.
Kind of like what I just talked about, huh?
And this isn't about a football player, right? This is about a human. This is about a brother. This is about a son. This is about a friend. This is someone who is loved by so many that you have to watch go through this. I dealt with this before, and I watched my team. And now this team has to deal with that, and they have no answers. And so the next time, I think that we get upset at our favorite fantasy player, and we're saying he's worthless, and we're saying you get to make all this money, we should remember that these men are putting their lives on the line to live their dream. And tonight, Damar Hamlin's dream became a nightmare for not only himself, but his family and his entire team.
And Travis Johnson said, "Thank you, brother. I hope jackass like real Skip Bayless learns from you." Everybody going off on the ball memory, but this is what Skip Bayless said, Hayes. Nothing is more important than a young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters.
Nah.
Again, everything else is irrelevant. I pray for him and we'll continue. Let me read the comment. Jesus, you emotional guys. Simmer down now. I was just the spaces so I could just mute everybody. Now, but Rachel said, I pray for him. We'll continue to, but it's too late, Skip. Des Bryant said, is it a block button to block everybody who's trying to defend Skip Bayless? Yeah, it got bad on Twitter, dog.
But Street, you know why we need to be emotional? Because they be emotional when somebody says something. They get so emotional about it that they want to ban you and cancel you and take all of your livelihood away. They get so emotional about it. They don't want you to earn no more money. They get so emotional about it. They're going to make you pay $500, basically take a knee and kiss the ring. That is not an apology because you use the words as the context. I'm sorry that it was misunderstood. He's not saying I'm sorry to the family for what I said.
No.
And to
that family deserves an apology.
And to add further, this is exactly the reason and my basis for why I was boycotting the NFL anyway. Because once again, no one's talking about it, but the whole Jerry Jones thing being pictured at that protest for integration at his high school when he was 13. Everybody just seemed to turn a blind eye to it. But that Kyrie energy and that Kanye energy was way different. They had a list of demands. They met with the Jewish leaders and said, hey, for you to get back on the court, Kyrie, we need you to do all this. And Nike still said, we're not taking you back. But Skip Bayless, as a journalist, can come out.
As a journalist?
Yeah,
who's trained.
To come out and say.
So check me out. Okay, I'm gonna run this down for y'all. All right, because I'm here for us to talk about it. Right. This was Skip Bayless' previous tweets before he said any of that. Right. Not exactly sure what just happened. Damar Hamlin. Not sure what just happened to Damar Hamlin. Players on both teams are shaking. Ambulance out on the field. CPR Administered. Can't remember playing being stopped for this length of time. Just said a prayer for him and his family. That was before all the other tweets. I've seen so many horrific injuries suffered on football fields, yet never have I seen a reaction like this. In every other situation I witnessed or covered, the game always went on fairly quickly. The attitude was, hey, that's football for these players. This was different. That's what he said first.
But that right there.
Then he went into the BS. Then he went into the BS text. Yeah.
But Street, to your point, that right there should set off an alarm that says, "Wait a minute, if it's that bad,
stop
right?
Right.
If it's that bad, because we see a broken leg, we even see paralysis, right? But people are moving, they throw a thumb up. Hey, that is part of the game. When it got that bad, that ain't even you're not unconscious for 8-9 minutes. You like when you get knocked out. They got the smell of salt. These people know what knockouts are. They wake you up. You never even seen a boxer knocked out for over a minute. He ain't just been asleep. They wake him up. He might be dazed for 10, 15 minutes, but he's up. That means that dude was not moving when you saw that kind of response by all people. And that's the insensitivity that they want us to have for their plight, but yet you don't want to have for our plight. So all I'm saying to Skip Bayless is, I don't want to hear that go long. So, I'm sorry you used the word, but not in the correct context. And he doesn't apologize, and he's not made to apologize for anything that he says or does to anybody in any form or fashion for years.
Yeah, because
all the way back to T. Suggs.
Yep, because he's always operate off the controversial takes that he makes, and how he bitches and whines on the air, and that equals ratings. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, there was a while ago where he should have been held accountable, and it just never happened. So it's kind of just like, just let him say what he wants to say. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
I just want to say this.
Right? I ain't mean to interject, Maddie. 1 second, Rich. After what I just read, listening to him talk about it, even before he said the BS, right? It's almost like he was talking about cartoons or something, like a, you know what I'm saying, like a video game. Something serious is happening, bro. Like, pay attention.
A product
he was talking about it so coy. You know what I'm saying? And then he went to go say the BS. I don't know. If we had to take a vote, I think he will be apologizing tomorrow. But go ahead, Rich.
I just want to say, just point out some context. So sometimes we throw the words out, that's racist, right? And once again, this is Footballville, so you're going to get everything from Bitcoin to ball here. So I'm just going to give you some context on mirrors on how to view certain things. So when you have Kanye and Kyrie, their livelihood is being threatened because of something that they said, even though in our Constitution we have freedom of speech. And then you see what happened with Skip. We saw what happened with Adam Schefter. Schefter apologized. We even saw what Jalen Rose had to do, where he had to basically do a quick take and apologize. And once again, it was because Jalen Rose was going to have his water turned off. His livelihood, the way that he feeds his children, was going to be taken away. What we don't, because we're not close to it anymore, we live in a post-racial society, I guess. We don't understand what the original definition of racism was. If Skip can go around and say something that's egregious to everybody, because we see it in the Twitter sphere right now, how much people are really going after him. and for him to not have a set of demands that he has to meet, and but on the other side of that, and this is what we're all saying, for Jalen to be almost canceled, for Kanye, Kyrie to be told that they have a manifesto that they have to complete before they'll ever make money again in this United States. That is the definition of racism, where I could take your whole livelihood and control it. I can cut your water off anytime I want to. So next time when you see when you use that word, that's racist, I want you to remember the context that you're using it in. So if I could take your livelihood, that's when you can be called a racist. But if I cannot take your livelihood, then there's no way you could call somebody who can't take your livelihood a racist. So I just wanted to point that out for the record. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Skip Bayless going forward, because nothing's going to, you're right, because that young man who collapsed has a family, right? And whether they played the game or not, whether they continue to resume the game or not, first and foremost, it's almost inhumane to tell these men who are all out there trying to feed their family. Remember, when you do it at that level, you're doing it because you're trying to feed your family, right? We all know what that's about as men. And to have them go out there and just witness one of their brothers collapse and be like, "Yo, let's keep the show rolling." I don't know. I'm glad we are where we are in culture today, and but I just wanted to take it back and give context to that word racism and how to define it, and how this kind of plays a role with what happens with Skip versus some of his counterparts like Jalen Rose. And I'm done. I don't want to be long-winded.
You good, bro? You say what you need to say.
Too late for that. you missed a long-winded, big dog. That's why I had you on here, dog, because you can express things the way I can't, Medi can't, Kyle can't. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do, big homie.
Yeah.
Good job, bro.
Yeah, but and I appreciate that, Rich, like you said, just to lay it out. And this is a thing that, but here's the problem. Skip don't have the power to turn nobody lights off. Right? He's not the head of NBC, Fox, Paramount, or whatever, but yet he's allowed to do and continuously do whatever he chooses, and they're on the same playing field. They are counterparts. You understand? They are.
I don't know if that's true, Coach.
No,
Coach, I'm not so sure if it's true. No. Let me. I mean, not to cut you off, but let me just say this real quick. There was an article about this a while ago, and they were talking about how much power Skip Bayless has at ESPN. So these guys they're not his counterparts. Skip has a lot of control over there. This was a talk of years ago. He has a lot of control at ESPN. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I agree, but what I'm saying is I totally agree with that. But I'm saying he has a boss who literally controls. He may influence who flips the off switch, but he ultimately doesn't have the off switch flip, the power. What I mean is, you look at Skip, and I'm actually hot with Shannon Sharp about this, that nobody makes this dude apologize for the bull crap. Like, I know we're talking about Hamlin has family, and yes, he does. But so does Chris Bosh. When Jalen Rose brought that out and said, this man got family, bro. And you calling him Bosh Spice and these type of things. But he continuously does what he does, says what he wants to say. Nobody holds him accountable. But guess what? I'm going to flip it back on us. That's our fault because we still watch it.
Maybe he been checked
overall.
I'm sure somebody done checked him by now. Who went up against him one-on-one?
Everybody.
So it was Jalen, right?
Jalen got him.
Jalen, everybody. Bro, even when the boxing reporters used to go against Floyd Mayweather and say egregious stuff, they never have to apologize for the foolishness that they say, bro.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they have an opportunity to say what they choose. Just because you go head to head that don't mean you won because I maybe out-talked you or I made you look stupid. To us, they don't care about that. The ultimate, get on the knee and kiss the ring. What is that? Saying, I apologize, because they know we're going to come out first. They've done it to Kevin Hart when the whole Oscars thing. Bro, I'm not apologizing. Let me tell you something. I'm not apologizing. I'm not going to apologize. It was 10 years ago. Blah, blah, blah. And guess what he did?
Apologize.
I'm sorry. Nick Cannon. No, I'm not going to I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody apologizes.
Every time.
Everybody except Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley said some wild stuff.
Charles Barkley said what they said. That's
they
why.
got a special place.
Yeah, Barkley kind of lives in a space where, Barkley done punched people in the face. Barkley done did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but he also
lives in a space of.
But he lives on their side of the fence. If
exactly.
I hope that makes sense. That makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
The double
like him calling Kyrie an idiot without even going and